Alright, sometimes I just have to keep it real with my audience and tell it like it is. Now I know a lot of YouTubers out there think that they know everything that there is to know about storytelling, but trust me, there are some things that most of them just don't understand. Hey there, my name is Dan Bennett from Video for Entrepreneurs, where, you guessed it, we help entrepreneurs learn how to look and sound great on camera. Alright, now don't get me wrong, there are plenty of great storytellers out there on YouTube, but there are a few things that most of us could work on. So, without further ado, let's get into the top 5 things that most YouTubers don't understand about storytelling. Number 1 is pacing. A lot of YouTubers don't understand the importance of pacing in storytelling. You can have the best story in the world, but if you don't pace it properly, you'll lose your audience's attention. So make sure you're taking your time with your stories, building up the tension and excitement, not rushing through it, but also not letting it drag out too much either. Slowing down or speeding up your storytelling can also help you control the emotional impact of your story, letting you lead your viewers to the exact emotional state you want them to feel. Pacing can absolutely make or break a video's storytelling, regardless of the content or message. Even the most interesting stories can fall flat if they're not paced well. Just think about that for a second. You can tell the most incredible stories ever and still lose most of your audience in the process. That's why pacing's so important. Pro tip, you can even use editing to tell better stories. Speaking of pacing, let's keep it moving and hit number 2, authenticity. This is a big one. A lot of YouTubers think that they need to be someone else in order to tell a good story. But the truth is, the most powerful stories are the ones that come from a place of authenticity. Don't be afraid to share your own experiences, your own emotions, and your own voice. I really think that we are entering into a time of video and business where the average viewer just wants to be told the truth and not have their time wasted. They want to feel better after they've engaged with your content than they did before, and we have the power to deliver the goods that they are looking for. Even if you're sharing someone else's story, make sure you weigh in with your own authentic thoughts and feelings on the topic. Give a genuine perspective that is unique to you. And don't be afraid to leverage the power of authenticity, because it allows viewers to connect with you on a deeper level, creating a sense of trust and loyalty that can turn them into lifelong fans. Remember, just keep it 100. Number 3, relatability. This ties into authenticity directly. When you're authentic in your storytelling, you create relatability with your audience. People want to see themselves in the stories you are telling, so make sure you're telling stories that are relatable to your audience. If you're sharing a story that you know most people probably haven't experienced themselves, make sure to use metaphor and analogy so people can draw from their own personal experiences and still make connections to the moral or point of your story. I was doing some video production work at a conference, working for someone giving a keynote, and once that work was done, I attended the conference myself, and I watched someone speak, and the way that they told story changed me forever. A woman who had summited Mount Everest was telling a story about that journey and what it took to get all the way to the top. She said things like, "Have you ever been so cold that your bones hurt and you can't help but to shiver?" She said things when she was talking about oxygen tanks not working or running out, like, "Have you ever felt like nothing's going your way and no matter what you put in place, it's all falling apart?" She asked incredible questions like, "Have you ever felt like you could really do something if you just had another set of hands to help you through, someone who had maybe been there before and could lead you along the way?" These are the sorts of things that, even though I've never climbed Mount Everest myself, I could completely relate to in her story. Being from Flint, Michigan, it's cold almost all year round. I know what it's like to have a chill in your bones. I know what it's like to come from nothing and have to struggle through life and just know if you had a hand or someone to show you the way, it would probably be a little bit easier. So even though I've never climbed a mountain in my life, I was able to go on that journey with her because she created an immense amount of relatability. Number 4, leading with conflict. The role of conflict in storytelling is often overlooked by many YouTubers, especially if they feel the need to please everyone with their content or to try and please the algorithm itself. However, conflict is essential in creating a compelling narrative that keeps viewers engaged and interested in the story. Conflict refers to tension or a problem that drives a story forward, whether it's a personal struggle, an external obstacle, or a challenge to overcome. In entrepreneurship, this can often come in the form of challenging the status quo or trying to disrupt an industry or a market. Conflict creates a sense of tension that makes the viewer want to know what happens next. Without conflict, a story can feel flat and uninteresting, often presenting more like a lecture. Ugh. Conflict can also help create a sense of empathy or connection with the characters as viewers root for them to overcome the obstacles that they face. The characters could be you, your product, your service, your big upcoming event, or even your own clients and customers. It's important to note that conflict doesn't necessarily have to be physical or action-packed. It can actually be internal or emotional, such as someone's struggle with self-doubt or a difficult decision that they have to make. What matters most is that the conflict is meaningful and engaging for the viewer. Number 5, great beginnings, middles, and endings. We sometimes like to call this a story arc. Using a story arc in YouTube videos is essential because it helps create a cohesive and engaging experience for the viewer. A story arc refers to the structure of a story, including its beginning, middle, and end, and the journey that the protagonist goes through. Remember that the protagonist can be your customer, your service, your big event, or even you. Moreover, a well-executed story arc can help you establish your brand identity and create a real connection with your audience. By building tension and resolving conflicts or challenges, you can create a satisfying and memorable experience for viewers. And I hope that this video here was an enjoyable experience for you, and now that you know some really important storytelling details that you should never overlook, watch this video right up here called How to Master Storytelling on YouTube Using the Story Spine to advance your storytelling abilities even further.